that you're probably only going to get 1 to 2 asks a year. So you have to make it count. What's most important, and then understanding the budget restrictions. If the machine you want costs $500,000 and the department that you're in, they're in a negative $500,000 every year or every month, do you think that you're going to get that equipment approved? So sometimes in order to get the equipment approved, you have to focus on fixing the problem, the source, finding the source of the problem, which is what? Efficiency. Helping with that so that you can get your ask answered. It's all about learning how to communicate. Your regulatory and your compliance officers, they're the experts who ensure compliance with industry regulations and can strengthen your argument. These are not your decision makers. So if you're like, man, I talk to compliance and regulatory team, they're going to help us get it done. They're not taking it to nobody for you. But they will support you when it comes to compliance and stuff. So you have to make sure also that you're not undermining your leadership while you're getting this information, or you're working through your management or your leadership to help get this information. And you have to have allied influencers, physicians, key physicians, vendors, and consultants externally who are professionals who can validate your proposal with industry expertise. That's why working with companies like SIPS works, because we can come in and help state a cause or a claim that maybe you aren't going to be able to get. So as someone who's trying to build influence, sometimes it's you just making sure that the right person or the right team or the right company that can provide the solution is talking to the right people, which is your management, your leadership, and you're advocating those two to work together. You got to find ways to do it within the means that you have. We talked about earlier, finding champions and advocates, building internal support networks. And a champion is someone who supports your ideas and advocates for it within leadership circles. Someone who's well respected, who has credibility with executives, a colleague who shares the same goal and can help push the idea forward, someone who has personal experience with the problem and is motivated to fix it. Those are the three things I'm looking for, especially when we're talking about what's a strong champion. And understanding that new relationships takes time for you to ask them to help you with the mission. How do you gain their support? You educate them on the issue. You explain the problem, how it affects their role. So I'm talking to my manager. I'm explaining the problem, and I'm explaining how it affects how they're seen with their peers. If I'm talking to the director, I'm explaining the problem, and I'm making them aware of how it affects their role and their ability to do their job and how they're seen with their peers. Anytime I'm I'm bringing up a problem and I don't have full influence or authority, I'm always going to bring to light how it makes that person look if they don't move on it or if something crazy happens under them. Then I'm going to provide the data and evidence to show why the change is necessary. Then I'm going to make it easy for them to advocate. I'm going to give them all the talking points and key metrics. The best way to get somebody to advocate for you earlier is to do all the work. We'll tell our partner sponsoring leaders that we work with, hey, we'll do it. We'll do the work for you. We'll coach you up on what to say and why it's important. As long as you truly are bought in, I can handle all the rest for you. Is it going to require you to do extra work? Yes. Will it require you to do extra work outside of your 9 to 5, your 8 hours of work? Yes. Well, remember, we're trying to be seen as an equitable or equal leader amongst people that we want to consider our peers. And it doesn't matter how long you've been in a hospital. You may be respected for your tenure, but that doesn't mean that you're peers with the doctor. Y'all may work in the same facility. It does not mean that you're peers with your director. You may work in the same facility. You may have even worked and started the same day that your VP started, and they excelled and grew past you. Y'all are not peers. Y'all are work associates. Y'all work together, but y'all are not peers. And so if I know and I understand that we are not peers, I have to appear as a value to someone I do at one point want to see me as a peer. Someone who has real value to bring. And the best way you will notice that is if you're in a room or on a call or in a meeting with all of the decision makers or people you want to be your peers, and they don't consider you openly, willingly, and they you're the last person like, hey, oh, what do you think? Or that's not a peer. So if they're not seeing you in the way that you want to be seen, we have to change the way that we are presenting information and presenting ourselves. And unfortunately, being quiet and just doing the work doesn't get the job done. If it were, there's a lot of people that will be in leadership roles that never talk they should be. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. So you have to make sure you're seen, you're heard, and you're the person that comes with the facts, not opinions. So here's an example. Issue. Instrument turnover is causing surgical delays. Who's our champion? OR manager. The tactic, I'm going to share data on delay times and propose sterilization process improvements. The outcome, the OR manager presents the idea to hospital leadership, increasing its chances of approval. Or my SPD manager. I'm going to do the same thing. And say, when you present this, we can work together. But when you present it, do you know how they're going to look at you? They're going to be like, man, you're amazing. And you know what happens when they do look at that person, your manager, like that, and they remember that you're the one who helped them, and you don't care about credit. You just want to make sure that they win and the department wins. There's no ask that you can ask of them that they won't consider doing it without question first when they really see that you got their back. You say, hey, man, I really think that we should do this. They'll be like, all right, cool. Let's work the numbers. Here's what you need. And then you're going to start to see them become a lot more transparent. They're going to start giving you more numbers, more facts, more things, because they know that you're not going to use it to make them look crazy, or they know that you're not going to use it to leverage just yourself. It's a lot, right? Learning leadership is not just the position, is it? Leadership is not just getting a little certification, as you guys are seeing. We're just talking about persuasion and communication. We're not talking about any of the other attributes, skills that's needed. We're just talking about basic communication and persuasion that is a needed asset for anyone in any position that they deem a leader. Do y'all see it's a little bit more nuanced? And a lot of you that may have never seen yourself at the table with some of those that you consider directors, executive directors, VPs, presidents, CEOs, C-suite. The only reason you couldn't see yourself in it is because you weren't trained to be it. In our SIPS Leadership Institute, we're training you to be exactly the greatness that you want to become. Isn't that great? I'm going to teach you how to lead without limits. One in the chat if you're still with me. Now, credibility to strengthen your influence. People are more likely to support you if they see you as credible, reliable, or knowledgeable. Just because you're willing to do the work. Just because you're willing to do the work. Just because they say, hey, you can get this job done. Just because they see that doesn't mean that they see you as somebody that's credible. Because I know a lot of you like, hey, man, my hospital, they call me. They know I'm going to show up. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to be here. Just because you're available doesn't mean that they trust you as credible. availability doesn't